What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us again tonight. We are excited for this episode. We've been covering a lot of our Dynasty League stuff lately, and now we're actually kind of switching over to our Roll Tide two-keeper league.
Roll
So
Tide.
it's kind of close to a Dynasty, but not really, right? I mean, it's year-round. There's trading, stuff like that. So keeper leagues are just a little different.
Kind of a hybrid between a redraft and a dynasty.
Yeah, I appreciate them. I like it a lot, actually.
I mean, you pick new keepers from year to year, but there's still you want somebody with some longevity that you can kind of hang on to for at least a couple years.
Right. Totally. Cool. So I guess let's just jump right into it. Let me get my screen up there for people's to enjoy. Okay, there's us and there's the screen. So this is our Roll Tide League. It's a 10-team keeper league, and so we've had a couple trades go on lately. I kind of posted about on our Instagram day before yesterday maybe, that I got a trade with Ben. And
did we ever cover real quick? Did we ever cover my trade with Jared?
No. Okay. So
that was kind of the first one that's happened. So
yeah, let's roll back time here a little bit. Yeah, view all. Here we go. Yeah, you're right. Let's go back here and
that's
see.
been a little while now. It says a month. It hasn't been that long, has it?
Yeah, I think it has. Maybe.
Oh, we never got to it on here because we've been on Dynasty mode.
Right. It was on May 21st. So May 21st.
So it was just last month. It's been like 3 weeks.
It's been dang near a month. I mean, it's the 16th. So
I can't believe it's halfway through June.
All right, so tell us about that trade, you and Jared.
Okay, yeah. So basically, his second keeper was going to be James Robinson, and with the whole Etienne thing, I thought to myself, he could maybe use another keeper. Hold on, I'm dog sitting, and she's being needy.
Is that really going to be his second keeper?
Yeah, it was looking like Michael Thomas and James Robinson. Sophie, you got to go lay down. Please.
That's interesting.
So I just started chatting with him and came up with this deal where basically I moved down from 1.02 to 1.06.
I hate this desktop version that it doesn't show what the
that's why I was trying to remember it off the top of my head. I wish it looked the same as the app.
Yeah.
But I gave him Gibson and my 1.02 for his 1.06 and 2.05 is what it came out to. So, yeah, basically Gibson for a second, and he wanted to move up those 4 spots in the first round. So that was that deal.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought Gibson's an okay keeper. I feel like he jumped the gun there.
The hype train is running away with Gibson.
No joke.
I just happened to get to him before you did with your plethora of talent on your roster.
I've definitely reached out to Jared on multiple occasions, and he wouldn't respond to me. And I reached out to him with a multitude of much better keeper options, and he never responded to me. But he responded to you. He must be mad at me for winning the championship. I don't know.
Well, 1, I think he likes Gibson, but 2, I think moving up to that second overall pick helped persuade him a bit.
100%. I don't blame him there. That's nice. I mean, he must have someone he's after or something there. So
yeah.
Okay, so that kind of kicked that off.
So that kicked off all the trading, and
because that moved you back to 106, and then it gave you an extra second rounder with 205. So pretty good deal there. So then it gave you 205 and 209, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, 205, 209.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So then Ben and Nick did their deal. I discussed that the other day, I think, on a stream.
Yeah, they basically concluded the trade they made in season.
Right. So that was the deal for them. And then through much negotiation, me and Ben came to a deal.
With which won't even fit all on my chat there. I need
So
it looks better.
This is what it ended up being. I gave Devontae Adams, Derrick Henry, and Kyler Murray. I'm not sure exactly why he wanted Kyler Murray on there. We'll cover that here in a sec, maybe. And then I gave my 4th rounder, which would be 410. Yeah, 410. For Mixon, Dalvin Cook, and his 1st rounder, which is 110. So for me, that Henry and Cook is kind of a wash. But if you look at like dynasty ranks, even redraft ranks, Cook is ahead of Henry in all those. To me, they're kind of a wash. I like Henry a lot, especially this year. But I would still say it's kind of a toss-up of who's going to be better. So to me, that was kind of a wash.
Yeah.
And then for Adams, I got moved up 30 spots from 410 to 110. And keep in mind, it's a 2-keeper league. So we're already, technically, when the draft starts, we're 2 rounds deep. We're 20 picks in.
Yeah.
Because there's 20 keepers. So technically, that's like moving from a 6th rounder to a 3rd rounder.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty significant jump there with Devontae Adams. And with Adams in his draft stock right now, because no one really knows what's happening with Aaron Rodgers, I felt that was some pretty good value for Adams there. So, it was a something is better than nothing approach.
Right.
And since most teams have 2 good keepers, I mean, I kind of just had to go for it.
So I just had a thought pop in my head because at first I was thinking, honestly, Mixon and Murray being on there are kind of unnecessary, to be honest.
Right. Mine was to make sure that Mixon, he didn't have Mixon to maybe try to sell to somebody else, was all I added Mixon in there for.
However.
Yep.
It literally just popped in my head while you were talking.
I've thought about this, but yes.
I think because we noticed that he has now put Adams on the block.
100%.
Being an OU fan, and I think he wants to keep Henry and Murray.
I agree.
Trade Adams.
Yep.
I hadn't even considered that until just now. It was like,
yeah, that was my thought too. When the trade was happening, my thought was he thinks he can flip Adams and he wants to keep Kyler Murray. There's no other reason for him to put Kyler Murray on there because he knows I'm not keeping him. And most of the time, no one's keeping a quarterback in this league. That's kind of odd for this league. So
Donnie's the only one that he's going to be able to trade him to, I think. But to be honest, to be fair, in the past, I think Ben's the only one that's been able to get a hold of Donnie to even pull off a trade before.
Probably.
So it might just work.
Yeah,
assuming Donnie isn't content with Mahomes as his keeper with Chubb.
Yep.
What's
it could work. So that's what that's looking like now.
Yeah.
So
that'd be the only way I see that working is if he trades him to Donnie because nobody else really needs him.
Right. So for me, in my roster, which we've covered extensively at this point, multiple videos, I've talked about my keepers, but in my last one, I talked about how it was probably going to be Henry and probably Ridley, right? And then right after that stream, probably 2 hours after that stream, made a deal that that changed all of that. It changed that fast. So, yeah. So now I'm looking at probably Cook, Ridley, as would be my keepers, right?
Only at this very moment, though.
At this very moment, that would probably change to Cook, Ridley. Now, surprise! Me and Kyle are pulling a trade, and we discussed it, but decided we would wait till we were on stream here to go ahead and pull the trigger. I've already sent the offer. Kyle's already verbally accepted, but Kyle, do you want to go ahead and hit accept on that? And
shall I pull the trigger? Ba-boom.
I mean, you don't have to, but
it is decided.
It is decided. So we just did a trade. I'm not as emotionally attached to Dalvin Cook as I was Derrick Henry. So I am trading Dalvin Cook and my 3rd round pick, which is 301, for Kyle's pick that he got in that deal with Jared, that 1-6.
Both picks I got with Jared, 1.06 and 2.05.
Yep. So I'm going for both of those. So understand, I went from having no first or second round pick in this year's draft to now I have 2 first rounds and a second round. So I'm still going to have 2 outstanding keepers.
And you still have 2 elite keepers in Ridley and Eckler.
So let me refresh this because you're still showing Dalvin Cook on my team. Get off of there. Okay, so Dalvin Cook's not on there anymore. So going down to my picks here, I now pick at 106, 110, 25. Then I set till 5-1, but essentially it's like I've got a 1st, 2nd, 3rd rounder and no 4th rounder. Like I'm missing 1 pick now instead of 2, and it's later in the draft, so it's less significant. Like I've recovered from the trades that I did previously. So for me, that is extremely helpful. And then, like you said, coming back here. Well, first, Kyle, let's talk about the rule change. Let's talk about the rule change real quick.
Yeah. So I set up a poll in the chat trying to decide if we wanted to stay half PPR, half point PPR, or go to a full PPR.
But this was by request by others in the league.
Yes. Others in the league had brought it up, wanted to do a poll, so I put up a poll. It got voted on, and full PPR was decided.
Yeah, so it was pretty split. Just for clarification, me and Kyle we didn't really care necessarily. Like it wasn't a hard stance, but we liked having a half PPR because we liked a little bit of, a little bit
variety.
Different rules. We like the variety of the rules. We're in some PPR. I'm in another standard league, and like we were in a 2 QB league last year. So like we like a little bit of variety in these. We're in multiple dynasty leagues. They all have different rules and scoring and rosters. So I like that variety and stuff.
That was a little more your thing than mine. I really didn't care that much.
Yeah, for me, that's one of those. Actually, Kyle actually did lean more toward wanting to change PPR than staying half PPR. I think I convinced him to kind of side with me a little bit on maybe a little bit of variety.
I was peer pressured.
So we were tied there for a little bit in the poll to whether or not we were going to change or not, and it looked like it was going to actually split 5-5 and stay half PPR. But there were obviously 5 people besides me and Kyle that felt strongly enough about it to ask for the poll and to vote for a change. And me and Kyle didn't have a hard stance one way or other. Actually, Kyle probably leaned more full PPR too.
I wanted to do full PPR anyways.
It felt right to go ahead and go with that. I actually changed my vote because people were lobbying for it really hard. So they obviously cared about it and wanted to do that. And if we were going to make that rule change, we just went 10 years half PPR. It's our 11th year. Change it now. It kind of makes sense. It's a good time to change it. So I switched my vote. Kyle went with what would have been his original vote with going full PPR. So we switched the rules. Now, with that being said, I also just traded away Henry. So I guess I did that just in time. Though I still think Henry was the number 3 running back last year in PPR. Like, he's fine, guys. Like, that doesn't knock him down hardly at all. I think that's silly. Anyways, what that does for my keepers, though, is going full PPR for me bumps Eckler onto my keeper list all of a sudden. Whereas half PPR, I actually didn't have him in my top 4. But now he's at the top. So right now I'm looking at Eckler and Ridley as my keepers because targets.
So you went from, with 2 trades, you went from Henry and Ridley and no picks in the first 2 rounds to 3 picks in the first 2 rounds and Ridley and Eckler.
Yeah, in a full PPR.
Yeah, in a full PPR. So obviously you did very well. You made
I'm
all the
making
right
moves,
moves.
bro. I'm making moves.
You made all the right moves. You did very well.
Now it sucks because giving up these top 3, arguably top 3 running backs. Dalvin Cook, arguably top 2 running back. It's hard to give that up, but at the same time, my philosophy is you don't cling to players just because they're great, right? So I see too many people fall in that trap. Like they have 1 or 2 great players and they're not willing to trade that one player and get a ton of depth or more picks and stuff. Your team has to be dynamic as a whole. 1 or 2 players can't carry your team. You just can't rely on them week in and week out. It's just not how fantasy football works. Because even really great players have down weeks and they can't carry an entire team if the entire team is kind of weak. So for me, it was worth giving up this top tier player. And Eckler's not a big step down, in my opinion, when you go full PPR to Dalvin Cook or Henry. I mean, if he gets a full season, he stays healthy, he's going to put up great points. So it's worth that little bit step down a tier there to now have those first round picks and that second round pick where I can pick up some really good depth and some good talent there that now puts me back in the running possibly this next year. And that's all I need to do is just be in the running and be competitive.
That's all anybody ever needs to do. Just make the playoffs. Who knows what can happen?
Yep, absolutely.
But like, so from my side, I went from having McCaffrey and Akers, and I had a first and 2 seconds. I didn't have a 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But, this last year, I didn't have a first, second, or a 5th round pick. I finished 3rd. So I
didn't have a first, and I won the ship. So
I'm sitting here looking at my keepers with Akers and McCaffrey, and I'm thinking I got 3 picks in the first 2 rounds. Like, I'm going to be back in the hunt this year, which I really wasn't out of the hunt this last year. But I'm like, I'm going to be a serious contender this year. And then this comes along. And I can't help myself. So, we do our trade. I have like the top 2 running back keepers possible.
Yeah.
And then
the thought of it was intoxicating, right?
It was very intoxicating. But the fact of the matter was getting your 3rd back with it and still having another second, I'm still in a better position picks-wise than I was last year with better keepers. I don't even remember who I kept last year with McCaffrey. I think it was Lamar Jackson, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, was that last year you kept Lamar Jackson?
Was it?
Or was it the year before last?
I don't remember now.
I can't remember either.
It was Lamar because I ended up trading him for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, that's right.
Which
that's a long story.
Talked about that already on here. So, I could afford it with the picks. I'm still in a good position with the picks I do have.
Yep.
I don't have a 1. I don't have a 4. But
considering your keepers, that's pretty solid.
Right.
Now,
I'm not mad about it.
And you told me this the other day because that's what got us talking about this trade in the first place is you watched my stream the other night. And when I was talking about maximizing those keepers, right? You want your keepers to be as strong as absolutely possible and not settle. And
that triggered my thought. I went, can I improve on Akers?
Right.
And then you made your move. We got to talking about it and go, we can make this work. And
for sure.
Now I'm at a point where I literally cannot improve my keepers anymore.
No, you absolutely can't improve your keepers. I would agree with that. I mean, so here's another thought process I had.
Our league mates are not gonna like it.
No, they're not gonna. They're gonna. yell collusion at this or something, but I had the issue.
I paid more than fair price considering what other keepers
I
have gone for in this league.
agree, but I was struggling with, do I want to allow Kyle to have these two keepers? That's an internal thought that I had to have. Like, do I want Kyle to have McCaffrey and Cook? Oh my gosh, like, why would I want him to have that? Well, I still don't want him to have it, but I've never been one to not trade something to someone that can improve me in my situation just out of spite so that someone else can't have a certain situation. It's not the way I function. It's not the way I look at things. I'm looking to improve my team in my situation. It's hard when you trade like that because, of course, you don't want to give certain players to certain people. Like, of course, So
Right.
if you look at it that way, it's going to be hard to ever get a trade done. Of course, I don't want to improve someone else's team, but it's like, oh, I'm improving my team.
If you look at it that way, you'll never do a trade because
right.
every trade you do, in theory, should improve both teams involved in some way.
Right.
If you're trying to make a trade with somebody that only improves you, you are not doing a fair trade with that person.
Well, you're not going to get a trade. And the problem is too many people try to trade like that where, and not saying that Ben's like this. Ben did a good job negotiating. I mean, we talked back and forth for 2 hours trying to get a deal done, which was tremendous, and he did it right. But at one point I had to tell him, like, because he was asking about certain situations, and I just straight up told him, like, you're going to be uncomfortable. Like, you have to be uncomfortable. If you don't make a second thought about the offer you're sending, don't even send it to me because it's not enough. And it should be uncomfortable. A comfortable trade, something's kind of wrong.
Yeah.
Typically, depending on the players involved. Now, let me stress that too. But if there's some big names involved, like Dalvin Cook or Derrick Henry, you should have some feels on that. You should have some reserve, and you shouldn't be like, oh, this is a great deal for me. I mean, how long? I mean, me and Ben talked for hours on that trade, and then you and I talked for quite a while, like an hour and a half on the phone.
I was
talking about this one
almost an hour and a half. Yeah, we were talking the whole way about it. So
yeah, so
it took some time.
I mean, and even then, I've been iffy. Even earlier, before this getting on the stream, I'm like, man, is this exactly what I want? So even then, like, knowing, okay, this is the deal, we're going through with it no matter what now because we've committed to it. But did I make the right move? So that's kind of how a good trade like that with some big time players, that's how it should be.
Right.
I think, in my opinion,
Yeah, I agree.
So, anyways, I'm glad to have that out of the way because now I can start looking for some other deals.
Yeah, I might try to trade Cam Akers now. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. I mean, you can always try. AJ Brown's a good keeper too. The problem is, like I said, everyone's got 2 legitimate keepers.
Yeah.
It's just if they like who they're keeping, like almost on a personal level, and then what's the cost of that? I'm gonna show you. This is kind of the downfall of this channel, and you and I doing stuff together is you kind of get an inside look at what's going on with my team, and I kind of get an inside look going on with your team, and then other people in our league can jump on here and also get an inside look. But that's what the channel's for. We knew that was a sacrifice we were making just for the content. We do this for you, people. So I put together a trade last night that I'm actually pretty proud of. Let's see if it pulls up. It's not going to pull up right on here. It's going to be so annoying. I wonder. Oh, you know what I can do? Let me see if I can do this really quick. Oh, it doesn't do it. No, it didn't do it right. Sorry, guys. I thought I'd be able to do that. Didn't bring up the app. That would have been so cool. Lame. I put together a 4-team trade.
Oh my god.
Yes. Oh, it does show it. Okay, it's showing all the numbers. Okay, cool. Okay. Is this right? Okay.
So what the heck?
So it's a 4-team trade. Okay. So my thought on this, did I do this right? I feel like Ben shouldn't have that many things going on down there. Anyways, maybe that's right. So what I tried to do is get everyone a player that they wanted and only move back. Instead of giving away a pick, they only move back. And for me, then I'm moving forward with my pick. No one's having to give up a pick. I'm swapping picks, but I'm moving forward because I'm the only one not getting like a keeper back. So that was my thing, is it kind of full circle here. So I make the big jump. So like I give Kelsey in my 8th round and get back a 2nd rounder. So I get this big jump,
And
right?
Jefferson.
Yeah, I threw Jefferson in there just to kind of even out where we were going, because Jefferson's going to go back to the draft. If Donnie's keeping Adams, Jefferson's going back to the draft. So it's kind of a toss in for no reason, but it helped me mentally when putting it together that everyone had a player and a pick, a player and a pick, a player and a pick. So it kind of helped me do all that. So Jefferson is just a toss in. They could remove him and I'd be fine with that. If Donnie wants to keep Jefferson to let him go back into the draft, okay. Then Donnie would give Jefferson whatever, and then his 303 and get back Adams in a 510. So if he wants to keep Adams over Jefferson, and again, Adams is coming from Ben, right? And so this is crazy.
So how much time did you spend on this?
Way too much time, Kyle. Okay,
For
so
what one of them is going to decline. It's going to ruin the whole thing.
100%. But God, I was so proud of myself. Okay, so then Austin gets Kelsey and 410 and gives Swift and a 2-7. So he moves back 23 spots and goes from Swift to Kelsey. Okay. Then Ben, he's giving Adams up here to Donnie, right? So here, let's preface this. Austin is a Kansas City fan. Donnie is a Green Bay fan. And Ben is a Detroit Lions fan. I guess 2nd team, whatever. So he's always been a Detroit fan. So I went with players that these people would really like and would like to keep, I would think. So Ben, though, would be going from Adams to Swift. Okay? So to me, that was a downgrade at keeper, even though he might like him a lot and having a running back is a good keeper option. So he actually moves from 410 to 303. So he actually moves up because of that. But then at the same time, moves his 510 back to 810. So he gets to move 1 up and 1 down. And then we've come full circle. It's so stupid, and I like it. But everyone gets players that they probably want to keep, and instead of like giving up picks, because people have a hard time giving a pick straight up, right? Because then they're short a pick and they miss out on a 2nd round pick or something. That's really hard to do. But moving a pick back 2 rounds for a keeper upgrade,
guys that they like too,
right? Right. So it's guys that you like, and you're moving back 2 rounds instead of giving up a pick. Not bad.
Huh. It is intriguing,
right? It's not horrible, right?
But like, so much time was spent on that.
I
know one of them's gonna be like, huh, and then it'll probably be Donnie.
Well,
time to understand it.
Well, he doesn't have to. All he has to do is like his part. That's all of them have to do. Donnie only has to like keeping Adams, and for that price, moving back 2 rounds. Austin only has to like getting Kelsey and moving back 2 rounds. What a deal. Like, Ben only has to like switching Adams to Swift, moving up 17 spots to the 303, and then giving up a 510 to the 810, which isn't super significant, especially since he has 6-1, because that's on a turn. So, not a big deal. But I'm just saying,
it's pretty wild.
It's not horrible.
It's pretty wild.
Not horrible.
Assuming everybody wants to go the Homer route.
Right. But
honestly,
in my opinion, they're also upgrades. Ben is the hardest one.
He'll be the hardest sell, but
because if he's wanting to keep Kyler Murray, now it's interesting.
Right. And I mean, he is moving that 1 pick up, which helps.
And moving it up significantly. Moving from 4.10 to 3.3 is a big move, because it's not as big. Like, it's 17 picks, but 17 picks somewhat early in the draft, so that's going to be a significant jump.
Honestly, I think to sell it to Ben, you might have to swap where you get 3.3 and he gets 2.7.
But then I would be giving up. Yeah, you might be right.
I think that would be a little more fair. Because in Kelsey, to me, like rankings wise, right, you're not necessarily giving up as much as Adams. So he should move up the extra 6 spots or whatever it is. So I don't know. It might be an easier sell for him if you swap those two, but otherwise it's pretty good.
Hey, if that's as far off as I am, I'm pretty proud of myself.
That's the only swap I could see maybe needing to be made.
Yeah. You're right. That might be enough selling point. I'm going to do a group text with them. I just haven't had a chance yet.
Because it's about the perceived value, right? It's 6 spots, but seeing that 2 instead of a 3 in front could make all the difference.
Well, also, if he's having to move his 5.10 back to 8.10, that jump evens that out a little more too.
Yeah.
You right. Anyways, I think you're probably right there. I don't hate it. Again, it's something for nothing right now, because I would let Kelsey go back to the draft and I could try to get him at 106, but I don't think he's going to make it to 106 because, again, I know people think that's crazy, but remember, with 2 keepers, we're pretty much starting off in the 3rd round. So Kelsey going in the first 6 picks of the 3rd round isn't wild at all. Like, that's should be expected. Yeah. So,
see, Derryberry agrees with me.
Get out of here, Derryberry, and quit, man. Just kidding. But thank you, though. Oh, I didn't realize I also got a compliment in there. So playing both sides there, D-Berry. So best 4-team fantasy trade I've seen. But Kyle is right. Yeah, I actually do agree. Kyle is right there. I think I would do it here, but you can't modify trades on here. You can modify them.
You have to do it on the app. Yeah.
So I'll jump on the app later and get a modification in there. And then I'll do a group text to just let everyone know, like, hey guys, I spent way too much time putting this together. Please take a decent look at it. For me, honestly, I've talked to Austin about doing a deal, and this is a much sweeter deal for him. Donnie is, I think, and he'll know, he follows Green Bay stuff way closer than us probably, so he'll know how to feel with Adams. But for me, I value Adams over Jefferson a lot. For me personally. But I don't know how he feels about that.
I'm sure he feels the same since Jefferson's a Viking.
Good point. Good point. So, but I mean, even aside from real life, like from those type of rivalries, that's like I don't want to keep an Eagle, right? But aside from that, I feel like Adams to me is still more valuable than Jefferson.
Corey, Donnie's the guy that would never have Adrian Peterson on his team because he was a Viking.
You know, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So he's not about to change that for Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
I mean, he had him on his team, but he's not going to be a keeper.
See, so him sending Jefferson to me is actually doing him a favor.
It is. It's relieving a huge burden off of his shoulders.
Yeah.
Now, better at night.
Now, honestly, again, I could remove Jefferson from this. I don't need Jefferson. I'm not going to be able to trade Jefferson.
No.
He doesn't have that kind of trade value, and he's not keeper worthy with my other options. I'm not worried about Jefferson. It really just helped me visually figure this out on my phone last night when I should have been sleeping. So, yeah, that's kind of where I stand on that trade. I think that's a decent deal. Ben's going to be the hard sell if he's wanting to keep Kyler Murray, because then he really has no, I mean, even moving from 4.10 to 2.7 for Adams, I don't know if that's enough for him. It might be. That's a good jump. It's something for nothing.
It's not. Yeah, it's better than nothing. And then if he likes Swift better than Murray, boom, he's got a keeper there instead. But
dang, you're actually that's right. It's something better than nothing. He moved back 3 rounds to get Adams, but not really. That means he did it for Murray too. Dude, that would mean that if he's keeping Murray, he essentially moved back from 210 or 110 to 2.7 to gain a keeper.
And got Murray out of it.
What? Okay. That would be a great deal for him.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a good deal, I think, for everybody. Do I want 2.7 and not 3.1? I mean, honestly, even if we stay as is, that's still a good deal for Ben. Holy crap. Now putting that all together, if you think about that, that's a good deal even for Ben as it is now.
You know the problem we're getting into with all these trades, though, right? Is everybody's going to have such good keepers for the next 5 years. There's not going to be any trades in the offseason the next 5 seasons because it's all a bunch of young stud players that we all really like.
No, that's not necessarily true. I mean, you've got like Kelsey and Adams. Well, no, you got Kelsey, but he might have 5 years left in him. You might
He might.
But here's the thing, though. Players' values still change.
They do. They fluctuate. Running backs could fall off. They could break their leg at the knee completely in half and lose all their value overnight. It happens.
Not even so. Like Kelsey can start falling off. Maybe he does fall off a little bit, and then someone like Kyle Pitts comes along, and overtakes him. Maybe Hawkinson does do that jump that everyone swears he's going to do. And becomes the number 2 tight end in the league or something. He becomes more valuable. Like maybe Swift just dominates all of a sudden and he becomes valuable. Like players' values change so much. I mean, look at Calvin Ridley. I mean, he just became a keeper worthy player. Granted, he got kept last year and we thought that was funny. We laughed at Cassidy for keeping Calvin Ridley, and then joke was on us.
Yeah, he proved us all wrong, which was kind of funny.
We
already gave him props for that too.
Yeah, well, but let's be 100% honest here. He only kept Calvin Ridley because he didn't want to give up a pick. So he settled on Calvin Ridley and then ended up paying off for him. It wasn't like he didn't foresee Calvin Ridley turning into this superstar type thing. It wasn't one of those.
He hit a lottery ticket on accident.
Yes.
He just didn't have any other options and didn't want to lose any picks.
Right. So that's how that worked out. So I can't give him too much props, but also a little bit of props.
But I can admit when I'm wrong.
Right. So
if Hawkinson turns out to be amazing and I've been crapping on him all offseason, I'll admit it. I'll be the first one to eat crow on that because I just don't see it.
I mean, I think he's going to do fine, but I think it's funny that everyone's crapping on everyone in that offense, but Hawkinson's going to be this stud player. And it's like, wait a second, how is he the one shining star? Everyone talks about, oh, their quarterback play is crappy, but Hawkinson is going to be amazing. Wait, it doesn't make any sense to
I
me,
could
but
see him and Pitts maybe kind of duking it out for 4 and 5.
yeah,
But I
could see that.
I don't think he'll ever crack that top 3
no.
without an injury. Without an injury to one of them.
Right. Just naturally doing it. I agree. So, anyways, I think that's where we're sitting in Roll Tide League right now.
I like it.
It's getting wild. As you can see down there, I have 4 outstanding trades. This is one of them, and then we have the other trades that I discussed with, just trying to get Aaron Jones to Donnie or Kelsey to Austin. And then another one is Jared. I'm seeing if he wants to upgrade Gibson to Jones. I see that as an obvious upgrade to move from 102 to 110. I don't think he'll do it because I think he wants that 1-2, but I figured I'd toss it out there for that upgrade. I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't necessarily blame him if he wants to keep that 102. So,
now I need to start peddling Akers because now's when I really wish I still had that 1.02 because I have a shot to get him back. But if I did that, I wouldn't have had the picks to trade you for Cook. So
yeah, the only reason I have this ability right now is because I have this extra pick. I don't think he would do 106. I don't know what's going to happen here. I want to keep my 106, but I don't think he's going to take this trade. I think he's on that Gibson hype train. And okay, I'm fine with that. I mean, that's one more really good player going back to the draft, but it is what it is. Derry said Hawk solid volume, but I can't see him being up there with the big 3 in the near term. Exactly. Not at all. I 100% agree. And I don't know that he's gonna get solid volume. I mean, did Goff really use?
He didn't throw to Higbee that much.
I mean,
I know it's a different offense, a little bit different system, but I still don't see. I see last year as his cap, basically. That's his ceiling.
Yeah, I don't see him exploding.
I don't see an explode like a huge improvement over that.
I don't either, honestly. And if he does, like I said, I'll eat crow, whatever. I'll admit that I was wrong, but again, we aren't experts. We don't claim to be experts. We go off of gut feeling, what we see, and that's just how I feel.
Yeah, if you feel comfortable drafting Hawkinson as, a top tight end, then go for it. But I won't own him in any leagues.
Yeah, you can have him. Okay, guys, that's what we got. As you can see, we've got 72 days, 19 hours, 14 minutes, and 45 seconds.
We got too many days. Too many days until
way too long. So we'll be there drafting in Denver, Colorado. It's going to be fun. Can't wait for it.
We won't be live. We will not be live for that one, though.
No.
We'll do a recap when we get back.
Yep. Yeah, I don't want to annoy our league mates and whatnot with that. Now, we might do a late night recap while we're there.
Like on Instagram?
Yeah, or something. I mean, we can do it on Melon really quick too, maybe. Because we'll both have our laptops and whatnot.
Yeah, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah. But we will not be live drafting.
Right.
We're not going to do that to them.
We'll sit there and start talking about every pick on they throw us out. So
yep, not going to do it.
Not a smart idea.
Yeah, but anyways, a lot of days. Hopefully, a couple more trades to be made. Hopefully, a 1 4-way trade to be made would be amazing. So we'll keep you updated on that. But for right now, this might be it for a little bit. But who knows? Because this league can get a little crazy.
It can. It certainly can.
It certainly did in the last couple days. That's for sure. It went from no activity to just
holy crap.
Yeah, big moves, big changes. I'll be curious to see the text messages that either start coming in here shortly or early tomorrow morning.
I'm kind of surprised none have yet, to
Me
be honest
too.
with you.
Me too.
But
So,
they will. They're coming.
oh yeah, it's coming.
They're coming for sure. And then I'll be back sometime later this week. I haven't decided what day yet. On here to go over some trades I've done in other leagues.
Yeah, because you've pulled off a couple.
I've done a couple trades in some other leagues, so and I'm working on a couple more right now. If those go through, then I can cover those as well.
Yep.
So
Cool.
be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for that.
Love it. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Daniel. Appreciate you over there.
Yeah, man. I'm sure Tony's watching too. If he is, shout out to Tony.
I don't think so.
He usually does. I don't know.
I don't think he's on here this time. But
What a slacker.
I tell you,
Can't rely on anybody these days.
if he was here, he would have been saying something.
Not always. Sometimes he watches on his TV. Last time I told him ahead of time so he got his laptop out and chatted with us. But
Yep. All right, man. Well, until next time.
yep.
See
you
you guys.